Hello there, Internet. This is me, Doc Eon, welcoming you to another Monday of Miniatures Rambling. It is Monday the 6th of July, 2020. And I've got a lot to show you, but I'm starting off with these bugbears, this family of bugbears. You see the kids up front, of varying ages. Some of them haven't gotten their fur yet. And these are from a Kickstarter I got from a small company called Meridian Miniatures. They've done a bunch of Kickstarters. This is the first one I've backed from them. So those are the kids, and here's the adults. We have sort of shaman type here, and a warrior. And I considered doing something fancy with a shield here, like painting some sort of device on it, but it looks so beat up that I think they wouldn't bother. It's just some hide covering the front of the wooden shield. And I didn't even paint the rim metallic because I thought, that would be overkill as well for a humanoid, like a bugbear's shield like this. It does have some more armor here though. Anyway, and here's the butcher, the mom perhaps, where there's some blood and gore to her cleaver, just for funsies. And yeah, they're not like accurate D&D depictions of bugbears exactly, but I thought they were so funny looking that I just had to have them, and I just had to paint them up as soon as I got them. And yeah, hope you like them. What a crowded village square. So this is a lot of Reaper Bones villagers, townsfolk, what do you want to call them, from the Dreadmere expansion set. And they're very simply speed painted. I've used a lot of different colors on them to break them up and to make them look more interesting. But each color is basically just one base coat, one highlight or two, and then a wash. And then maybe a cleanup phase after if I spilled something onto something else where it shouldn't be. So not very complicated. And I went with mostly drab colors. The ones that are brightly colored are, well, the mayor and the herald, or whatever, because I thought they look like they're upper class. They should have more colorful clothing. And also this lady, I mean, she's just a fishmonger, but on the other hand, her dress is very elaborate. So I thought, yeah, I mean, she might be a very successful saleswoman, so she might afford more colorful clothing. I'm not sure what she's selling, really. She's holding a fish, but then the stuff coming out of the bottom here is like tentacles or guts or something. So maybe there's a squid, or I don't know, she has sausage in it as well? I don't know. Anyway, this lady is definitely selling fish. And here we have a barrel of fish and a little octopus. And these two I painted very, very drably because they look kind of poor. I mean, their clothes are kind of tattered, walking with a gnarled stick. This one just has a broom and an apron and a cloth. So, well, she might be some sort of, she's probably not that poor. She's just a working stiff. And the bases, by the way, the ones that didn't have cobblestone bases, that just had very small bases, I put on these thin plastic extra bases and added some grit to it. And I just painted gray because I wanted it to look like they're in town. They're standing on maybe gravel, not dirt as out on the countryside. I have this issue where I have several other like civilian minis, townsfolk minis from various companies that are holding brooms, but they're on bases that look like they're out in the countryside, and that's so weird. They should be really this lady should be indoors. I should have done something else. I should have put her on a wood plank base maybe, but that would have taken some effort. And I don't know. I don't think players are gonna think twice about this if they see it. Anyway, so this one is again a bit brighter in the colors because she looks like she's a professional. She's an herbalist of some sort. She's out picking flowers, or she found a clover, big 3-leaf clover here, and she has a collection of stuff in her sack. A very nice sickle, so I thought, yeah, she should look nicer. And then we have these 3 dudes. The fisherman, he's got a fishing rod on his back, and he's telling you about the one that got away. It's this big. We have a kind of ranger-looking guy with a mug. I painted this as just I tried to make it a clay mug, sort of a tan color instead of metal, because I thought it didn't look like metal, and just, I don't know, some dark fluid there, an ale perhaps. And finally we have this guy. What's he gesticulating towards? Well, this is the drover that's supposed to go with the big pack turtle, which I didn't finish. I'll show you that one in a minute. How far I got. Yeah. But that was the haul for this week. Everything that was completed. Quite a lot. Good job. Let's move on to works in progress. So currently in progress, we have still... This is the last thing left over from last week. I've started the pack stuff. I'm painting it from the top down, and I sort of got stuck trying to come up with some variety in the colors, because logically it's a lot of barrels and boxes and trunks. You know, they would all be 50 shades of brown, which is a little boring. So I've been trying to think of ways to break it up, introducing maybe some green browns or red browns here and there, some yellow. Well, I'll keep working at it and try to think of something. The other Reaper thing I've started is the brain in a jar, which you can see here. I'm painting in sections, so the actual jar I'm going to leave until the very end. I have not attached it to anything because I want to keep this plastic clear and not defiled by any paint, or for that matter varnish. So I'm going to paint these 2 bits separately and varnish them before assembly, which will be the final stage. And I'm thinking of, I've seen a lot of examples of this where people just leave the jar empty, but I'm thinking of using this stuff, which is a transparent resin, to fill it with. Of course, I have to be careful because when I put this brain down into it, it's going to displace a lot of the fluid. So I have to I'll have to go test it, pour in a little bit, test fit the brain, see if how much more I need to pour in, pull it out, pour in a little bit more, and so forth and so on. But maybe I want to add some color to this, you know, like a drop of an ink or a wash or something, so it's not perfectly clear, but it looks like, you know, some blue or green or something. We'll see. I'll experiment a little bit with it before doing it for real, so to speak. But what can you say about this? Well, it's unfortunate that this is the old softer bones material, because the legs are not very hard and stable. But we'll make it work, I think. And I don't know. So in case you didn't realize, I've assembled part of it. So the brain and the top here were 2 pieces, which I've glued together. And also this base and the legs were two separate pieces, which are glued together. And this base was clear, like this plastic, but I decided to paint it because I couldn't see any real reason why it should be clear. It didn't really make any sense for it to be clear. I suppose, well, one effect of it being the clear plastic is that it's hard. It's not bone. This platform is not bonesium, so that's good. I'm really grateful for that, because that means it is more stable. Anyway, moving on to the dwarves and so forth. These have been simply primed in my darkest gray, the German gray primer, and the dwarves have been just given a quick dry brush of gunmetal on top of that, because they're mostly very, very heavily armored, mostly full armor except one kind of ranger dude here. So I thought that was a good base. These rock dudes I dry brushed in a lighter gray, and this thing I dry brushed in a dark red, just to get started to see what it looks like. I mean, these are going to be rock, so it's going to be some version of gray, definitely. I haven't made a final decision on what this is going to look like yet. I don't know what it is. We'll work it out. And the halfling militia here is almost ready to be primed. I just want to let the basing material set properly before I do so. Maybe put a second layer on this guy. Now, some of these guys are a little run-of-the-mill and boring, like just your average spearman, or the archers here with their weird short-staved bows. This is not me making a mistake, by the way. The bows are this way. There's shorter underneath, on the lower than the upper part. Anyway, there's not as much detail on them, but there are some that I really like. I want to point out the cook. No, what was this? The cook? No, this wasn't the cook. This is a sort of trapper. Sorry, this is the cook. Try to do this one-handed with a skillet. And there's like a rogue here and a wizard. They're a bit top-heavy because they are metal minis on plastic bases. And of course the dog rider cavalry is hilarious. And here's some sort of hero with a more fancy sword and armor. So, and this, I don't know what this is, some sort of shaman. Oh right, I forgot to fix this. Haha, good thing I noticed that. It's kind of a mace, and this thing broke off when I was cleaning it, so I'm gonna have to reattach it. I'll get right on that. And looky here, it's a box from Reaper. This is my monthly order from June, which didn't arrive until now because I placed it pretty late in the month. And the reason for that was that they had problems with the stock of the promo minis. They still do, but for this month I actually placed my order very early. I rushed in and got, there was only, in the promo section they only had one single mini, which is the new one, and that's the one I wanted in any case. In case you haven't figured it out, what they're doing with the promotion this year is they have a selection of minis available, 10 to 12 of them, and each month one is completely new, and then there's a mix of some of the ones from previous months of this year, and some just really old back catalog minis that you can get. So far, I think I've managed to get all the completely new ones. Anyway, this month, let's see what I got. I got a couple of brushes because some people have said good things about the Reaper brushes. I've never tried them before, so I got a couple. I got a normal number 2. These are the synthetics. It says here Pro Brush Golden Tacklon series. That's kind of nylon, I think. So a number 2 round for just general painting use, and a number 2 flat, which is a small dry brush. I got a couple of new paints that I thought were interesting looking colors. The rose gold, which is, I don't know if it's supposed to be metallic. It looks like it has a slightly metallic sheen to it, but is a kind of rosy brown, pinkish brown. I thought that was interesting. And then there's Sophie Champagne, which is just an interesting beige color. I don't know if this is supposed to be. It's hard to tell with these bottles if it's metallic or not, and I haven't actually opened them up and brought them out on a palette yet to see. I don't want to squeeze them out here, so we'll have to test these out later. And then I got a few other minis, and the promo mini for June, that the new guy was Mascar Stoneskin, who is a half giant. I mean, he's in D&D terms a Goliath, very clearly, because he's bigger than a normal guy. And for my filling out the order, I went, well, these two guys, 2 versions of Logar. This is like a really old mini. You can see it's a 25mm sculpt. And this is a newer guy. He's pretty big. He could be a Goliath. So they're executioners. They're headsmen with big axes. Going with these the execution theme I've had painting the gallows and so forth. This one simply because it looked like a really fun mini to paint. It's called Scuttlebones Razzaq. It's from the Warlord line, and which is their war game, miniature game that I don't think anybody actually plays anymore. But anyway, the Razzaq are one of the factions in the Warlord game, and Scuttlebones is an undead giant crab. So cool concept. And finally, I got this little bunch of animal companions, the 3rd set, and the reason I got these was it's a koala, it's a kangaroo, and it's an aardvark, I believe, something. I thought they sort of fit with the theme. I don't know if it's been a theme, but a while back, earlier this year, I got their Brushfire Relief minis that were Australian themed, and so yeah. The kangaroo is also kind of Australian, so yeah. Do I want to start painting any of these? Well, I think at least these. I'm going to start these up, at the very least. Maybe Scuttlebones, I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Maybe the Logars, because of the sub-theme I've been going with. I don't know. You'll just have to tune in next week to see. But Mascar I'll save because this is a potential player character. And the reason I don't paint up many of these character minis immediately is that in the back of my head is the idea that these might all be future player character minis in one of my campaigns, and if that's going to be the case, I want to wait until a player actually decides to play, say, a Goliath, and I'll ask him, okay, so what colors do you want on them? So I don't sort of decide in advance for them. But at least 3, maybe 5 of these. I guess these count as 3. Yeah. But I'm gonna have to add some more new projects, so let's see what I've thought about. I thought I would go for a really deep cut among my unpainted minis. This is part of a Kickstarter. Well, I don't actually recall. They were in a box with some seemingly unrelated minis, but I think they were from the same company. Anyway, so I don't remember if it was the same Kickstarter or 2 different Kickstarters. This is a bunch of monsters that are kind of a sort of a fantasy football team of some sort. I think they're like werewolves or at least animal human hybrids, some sort, all of them. And I don't know exactly how many there are. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here? Here's a really big one. I don't know where his head is. And here's a simply large one. And so, oh, this guy is actually holding a football, so you can see that. And there's a bonus mini, which is this lady bringing the drinks. Oops, there's a hole in this baggie. Hope I haven't lost anything. Anyway, it's like I had completely forgotten about these until I was rummaging around and found them. So, hey, why not? Let's paint these guys up and see what they are. Yeah. So that's my quote of monsters for the upcoming week. I'm not sure if I need to add anything more, but in my back pocket, in case I need more projects, I have these, which are super quick to prep. This is the rest of the sort of PC or friendly NPC models from the Dreadmere set of the Bones 4 Kickstarter. Mostly humans. There's one, this guy's a tiefling, and there's a halfling somewhere around here. Yeah, there's a halfling. I think most of the rest are human. But, you know, they could be elves or half-elves, because mostly their ears are hidden. Yeah, so in case I run dry, if I paint really quickly and I need to add some new project really in short order, these guys have, like I said, minimal prep. They can just be cleaned off, and spray primed, and boom, you're ready to go. There's no assembly. That's what I mean with these guys. They're already done. With these, as you can see, there's a lot of assembly. This will take time. Anyway, that was it. It was a bunch of stuff that happened this week. I hope some of it was amusing to you, or at least inspiring or something. So please click like on the video, subscribe if you haven't done so before, share the video with somebody you think might like it, and join me again in a week. Same day of the week, same channel, same Dakian. But for now, I'm signing off.